Yes, sir.
Good afternoon to friends, viewers,
Very good afternoon, sir.
channel.
Very good.
This is
Very good
another
afternoon, sir.
episode of our program, Psychologists Speak. As you know, we have been organizing this program and helping our viewer to find the answer to their problem which they have been experiencing due to lockdown. Not only lockdown, any crisis in life. And we have dealt with many subjects, but there were a lot of demand was coming to discuss about cybercrime, cyberbullying. Yesterday, we had a program, panel discussion on cyberbullying from psychological perspective, psychological consequences of the person who is involved in this kind of act and the victim. But today we have experts with us. I will introduce my experts to you, our panelists. And first panelist with us is Dr. Dinesh Adalakha. Dr. Dinesh Adalakha is a senior faculty at the GCSI Mary College. Dr. Dinesh, welcome. And not only that, he's a person, from the law background. So I thought he's the right person to help us understand. Then we have a very important other panelist, Mr. Kamal Ghai. Mr. Kamal Ghai is the public prosecutor at Delhi High Court. And he's a practicing person. He knows in and out of everything. So we thought that we requested him. We find out both of them agree to be available to us. Today I have my other moderator, Dr. Rekha Dayal. Dr. Rekha Dayal is a senior faculty member. Is well known and she's a great activist in Delhi University, which is known to the Duta movement across the country. And she's another moderator with me. So we are two are the moderators. And there are many questions the viewer asked from time to us. बहुत क्वेश्चन पूछे उन्होंने, लेकिन उसमें से कुछ क्वेश्चन जो बहुत सारे लोगों ने बार-बार पूछे, उन क्वेश्चंस को हमने समराइज किया और उस क्वेश्चन के बेसिस पर हमने सोचा हमारे दो पैनलिस्ट जो है एक्सपर्ट्स इस एरिया के हमें हेल्प करेंगे इसके बारे में. So time, I will not waste much time. My introduction and other things, I will straight move to that. So सबसे पहला question I will ask the question to the Mr. Kamal Ghai, who is the public prosecutor at the Delhi High Court. That Mr. Kamal Ghai, question like this: how can we differentiate between cyberbullying, cyber defamation, and cyber crime?
See, there are now cyber crime is the one which has got the broader spectrum, and in cyber crime it comes the cyber bullying as well as the other things. Now, first we should know that what is this cyber? Cyber relates to the characteristics of the information technology. How it's related to because the culture of the computer and a virtual reality, the means relating to the electronic networks. Now we have to differentiate between the cyber crime, cyber defamation, and cyberbullying. So first of all, I'll come on the cyber crime, because the cyber crime includes this all three. Using electronic tool in a computer network and the other information technology uses, and the criminal activity where the computer is target of the crime. So the source of crime is the computer or the information technology or the tool which has been used. Now with a crime, where is a crime? So crime is everywhere around us. So this all incidents which commissions to the crime comes under the cyber crime, which relates to these all three. Now the second chapter is this: what are the cyber crimes? Involving electronic tool as a target of the crime, which includes hacking. Hacking can be a trespass also, cracking, that can be a burglary also, malicious code, there can be a once against the vandalism. Computer as a tool includes the all kind of the threats which may you find the fraud, theft or child pornography,
Okay.
or maybe a now the cyber. I will come on this cyber defamation. Cyber defamation means this cyber, how the cyber defamation comes. It's comes through the online messages, attracting the another person on the activity, which harsh often a personal liberty to penetrate in that possibility of a defamation.
Thank you.
Now, what is the defamation? So defamation, again, I'll include that defamation can be cultural offense or as a criminal offense. So these are cultural offenses called the civil offense, and which acts to the criminal offense. So the criminal act is comes under the criminal offense. Civil defamation, there is a no remedy. The remedy available only in India in law of torts, which is not existing. So criminal defamation in India comes under the IPC. IPC section which attacks their section 499 and 500.
Thank you. Thank you.
Which
Thank you, Kamal. I know there's a big description. I think the information you have given will be very, very useful to the viewers.
actually, this is at length actually required the 5 minutes.
At length, yeah, we know that we are just trying to sensitize people. Very well when you are differentiate between the cyberbullying, defamation, and crime. I think it's really helpful. Dr. Rekha, it's your turn.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, Mr. Kamal Gai, for your
Thank you, ma'am.
rendition of this cyber crime and so on. Now, my question is now directed to Dr. Dinesh Adlakha. We hear so much about the bullying everywhere, and we would like you to differentiate between, throw some light on the cyber bully and the regular bully. How do they, differ from one another?
See, bullying, if you want me to define the bullying is any act of threat, mean act of aggression to cause distress or stress or those kind of feelings in the minds of your victim. Bullying, as far as traditional bullying goes, the face is known. Whereas in the cyber crimes or cyber bullying, the anonymity is the biggest feature of this. The perpetrator is anonymous.
Sure.
You don't know. Until and unless you file your reports and all these things, government starts the police starts investigation and all these things. Most of the time, the perpetrator remains anonymous. Victim doesn't come to know of this. Then traditional bullying, you have a time. For example, you're going to school, you are in school bus, you are being followed or stalked or bullied in metro or someplace it. Whereas cyber bullying is there for 24/7, 365 days in a year. You are at home, you are in the classroom, you are anywhere, because as defined by Mr. Ghai, the cyber crimes are through the generally, if we can broadly say that they are through internet. So internet access now is so pervading in your life that you are almost every moment of your waking hours, you are with the phone or you're with the net and all these things. So the cyber bullying goes on continuously. Then the reach of cyberbullying is tremendous. It can, in a jiffy, you can share your things on net, Facebook, Twitter, WhatsApp, whatever the medium may be, and it spreads throughout the world. So these 3 or 4 things I can say are the basic difference between what. Of course, both of them, they cause anguish, they cause anxiety, they cause distress. They are the ones which bring depression, loneliness, etc. Change in the eating and sleeping pattern of the victim's lifestyle. But anonymity, reach of the medium, and the timings, they are basically, to my mind, are the difference which which can be broadly put into perspective.
Thank you, Dr. Abdullah. You very well differentiate, tell difference between bullying and cyberbullying, you know. And you rightly said the one place face is known, another place face is unknown, you know, in the cyber, you know.
Yes.
And it's a continuous. No, my question will go to Mr. Ghai, Kamal Ghai. Mr. Kamal Ghai,
Yes, sir.
you are a legal person. Tell us, what are the important legal points a parent or a child should be aware regarding cyberbullying? Some of them, I know there are many, but some important you can share with us.
So, parents and child and the teachers all should understand the basic law of day-to-day life. Now the responsibility of the parents is more, because the child means he's a teen. So what they have to, because they are a responsible parent as parents, and they have to put the knowledge of the basic law with the children. They have to share with the children. First they should know, and then after they must share with the children. And they must know that how to keep safe to their children. And they must convey the message to the children that this electronic media, to deal with this, is not an easy task. It is a responsibility of parents as well as the teachers. Below the 18 years of the age, now the 21st century witness with the lot of advancement and the achievements. With IT technology, we are using the technology and we are sharing with our children, and we are permitting to our children. So we must take precautions on that. So that precautions, which gives you the e-rights and e-duties also. Like we have a fundamental duties, the same way we have the e-rights and e-duties for the cyberbullying to save our child. Now cyberbullying on the children while using the electronic technology and the internet system, which is increasingly used now without any break or stoppage, or we have any control over our children. So we have to, as such in conditions, the child right should be definitely taken care. He should be free to use, but there should be a limit in that. The IT Act doesn't stop any child, but IT Act has given the privacy to the child for every person. Like they have a privacy. Now the IT Act also have a privacy. Now there are few publications or some materials which is harm to the children or to their mind, or they may create any mental depression or any kind of the stress on them. So those should be taken care, and we must keep a watch on the children's, that if they are bullying or bullied by any person on the internet or on the using computer or any tablet or anything like that, so they must be taken care, and they should know what is their right and up to how much they have to go. So we should facilitate the children for this advanced technology, but we must watch on that, and there should not be any bullying which affect to the child's life.
Thank you, Kamalji. You are very well told us the legal point of view from the parents and child point of view. Responsibility, I agree. Responsibility. Teacher and parent will have to take more responsibility. Children are basically innocent. No, Dr. Rekha, it's your turn.
Thank you, sir. Now this question is directed again to Dr. Dinesh Adlakha. You know, as Mr. Kamal Ghai has said, that there is a lot of cyberbullying and cybercrime which takes place. Now we would like you to throw some light on what actions can be taken by a person who is a victim of this cyberbullying.
See, ma'am, first and foremost, the victim must speak up. Speaking up, and now I'm going to make another statement which may sound contradictory, but they are not contradictory. Don't respond or retaliate. Don't give, you in turn don't become the cyberbully, but you must take your parents, your teachers, your friends in confidence if somebody is bullying you on a traditional method or by cyber methods by on internet. Second thing that you should take into account is saving the evidence. Saving the evidence is that whatever text messages, whatever photographs, whatever that they are sent to you through Facebook, Twitter, WhatsApp, etc., you must save them for future this thing. Contacting the cyber law enforcement agencies is also your this thing. Every police department now has a cyber cell which immediately takes care of these complaints that they reach to them. So as I said,
Yes.
that you have to speak up, you have to take your parents, your fellow students, your friends, your elders, whomsoever you confide in, you must take them in confidence. You must speak up. You must tell them that this is what is happening with you. In fact, the service providers, by service providers, I mean the internet companies, the Facebook, the Twitter, etc., they also have a policy whereby if you report to them that any perpetrator is there who is indulging in these act of bullying, then most of the times these agencies, these service providers themselves take action against those things. Their profiles can be blocked. They can be blocked from using these things. So you have to take that. You have to contact your service provider. Then use available tools and technologies. Available tools and technologies are there now. Almost every Android user, Apple users, etc., they know they themselves can block the perpetrators if they come to know that somebody is constantly, like in phone also we have now, if somebody is constantly calling you up at odd hours or anything, you can block that number. So these kind of things.
Dr. Adalakha, can you hear me?
Hello. Is it on?
Yeah.
Dr.
So,
Adalakha,
now
So
we
as I
can
said,
hear you.
it's okay, it's okay, yeah, fine. So Dr. Adalakha,
take your take your friends into confidence. Do whatever can be done at your end. That is must. Now, one more thing that we indulge in is that we don't protect our accounts. Our accounts, whether it's on Facebook, WhatsApp, etc., our phones are unlocked. We must now inculcate this habit of locking, not sharing the passwords, etc., with others. If we do these things, we can, to a very large extent, we can minimize the incidents of cyber bullying or cyber crimes that happen with us.
thank you,
Thank
Dr.
you, Dr.
Here, linked one question I have for you from the viewers, many people. What are the rights of the victim? Can you just list 1, 2, 3 in short?
See, as Mr. Ghai just pointed out, the Information Technology Act 2000, that gives you now many rights. You can approach the police. Police can take the harassment can be asked to stop. Before this Information Technology Act, the IPC used to take care of these things. But now after that,
Yes.
deletion
Yes.
of the harassing accounts, the threat that you receive to your life, etc., your social image that is threatened by these things, the police can definitely take action on these things. These are your rights. You can approach the law enforcement agencies, and they will definitely. Mr. Ghai will agree with me that you have to first and foremost, if you
Yes.
contact them,
Yes.
then now
Yes.
I
And
here
Dr.
feel that
Dalakha,
civil society, sorry,
Dr.
civil
Dalakha,
society.
you are very right. And apart from that, this act, IT Act, apart from that, we can invoke the general IPC also in this.
Yeah.
Simultaneously, both
Before
acts
that, the
can keep on it.
IPC only used to take care of this thing. Now
Yes. Yes.
amendments are taking place in IT Act 2000 also. That also is giving that. But here I think that the civil society and the parents, they must sensitize the children
Voice.
to not only in cyber crimes, otherwise also speak up, use your right. Your right is your
Yes.
right. Only you can enforce your right. Nobody can come and enforce it for yourself. Unless and
Yes.
until you speak
Yes.
up, you
Yes.
come out, nobody is going to help. That must be your
Very right.
mantra. That must be your this thing that in life, I will stand up for my rights.
Rightly said, you are no doubt, one is a victim, but that doesn't mean you are only victim, you have the right also.
You have the right.
You have the right to fight for your. I think Dr. Rekha, your turn.
Thank you, sir. This question is to Mr. Kamal Ghai. Sir, there are these so many atrocities associated with children, and I would like you to throw some light on the Protection of Children from Sexual Offences Act, that is POCSO Act. So if you
Yes,
could
yes.
throw some light on it, I think the viewers will bear.
Before POCSO, children's and women's was taken care with the Child and Women Protection Act, but that was not sufficient to catch the culprits and to punish them heavily. There is a need in the society. Now, in the society, what happened actually? The crime rate and the population both has grown together. That is the reason the government of India and our NGOs and other social bodies thought about to bring some act which should be severely punished. So the people, those who are culprit to exploit the children, they should be punished heavily and they should be definitely dealt with a very hard hammer. Now, the death of the child sexual abuse cases, government of India has brought a special law, namely the Protection of Children from Sexual Offences. That's called the POCSO Act 2012. Now the POCSO Act 2012 law to provide the protection of children from the offenses of sexual assault, sexual harassment, pornography, and giving them the safeguard in the interest of the child at every stage of the judicial process by incorporating the such mechanism. According to our Evidence Act, which was earlier weak in such cases, but now recording of the evidence and investigation through a speedy process, the government has provided in the POCSO Act. The said act defines a child. A child means he's teen. He's not understandable. Any person below 18 years of the age. And defines a different form of the sexual abuse, include the penetrative or non-penetrative. Both the assault has now come under this provision. Before that, these provisions was not there. In sexual harassment or pornography or aggregative, some positions, circumstances are maybe at your school level or maybe at your society level. So these was not taken care. Earlier, the school was exempted from these all these acts because the children was not used to tell. Now we are educating to the children through our POCSO Act and visiting to the schools also and giving the lecture regarding the POCSO to know about the child, what is the child abuse and how the childs are abusing. Even there are so many in India, we are not having that much education infrastructure or the surrounding circumstances or the faculty which can help to the students and to tell them what are their abuses against them. So this special law has been enacted for this very reason only. And when we talk about the POCSO is a said act which is implemented with the active participation of the government under the section 39 of the said act, which state government take care of this all guidelines which has been provided in the POCSO Act. Initially, the only POCSO Act was introduced, but later on POCSO guidelines is also been introduced, which dealt with the psychology, expenses of on the child, some social work is there, some physical or mental health is required to the victims. So these been all taken care, which I'll take in the next questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kamal. You very well, I think, explained for a person like layman like me, how to understand that
Yes, sir.
stand for. I think my other moderator, Dr. Rekha, will agree with me. No, my
Absolutely,
question
sir. I agree with you.
Dr. Dinesh. Dinesh, what are the precautions, measures a person can take to safeguard the information?
So to safeguard the information, only and only the user can take precautions. User must take precautions. Not only should take, he must take precautions. First and foremost, you should not rely, you should only use the standard equipments. First,
Hello,
Hello.
Dinesh, you are
I
not.
think
Dinesh, you are not audible.
the standard equipments have all kinds of viruses, etc. You should have your antiviruses updated, because immediately the antiviruses are able to detect any spyware, any malware that is being come. If there is spyware installed into prone to steal your data, your information, your this thing, then that they detect. You should constantly keep upgrading your passwords. Change the passwords frequently. That should be the mantra. Whether you're using your Facebook account, Twitter, etc. Apart from that, if you're using your credit cards, etc., net banking, for that also, net banking frauds, credit card fraud, debit card fraud, they're taking left and right here and there. So the password change is one of the solution that you can one of the precaution you can take. Encryption of data is these days a mantra. Must encrypt your data. Another thing is that we tend to do, and that not only the cyber crimes, we invite other crimes also. We share each and every detail of ours on the Facebook. Must stop that. Oversharing on the social media is what we invite trouble for ourselves. For example, I'm going on holidays and I'm putting everything on my Facebook account. The people know, I mean, the entire world knows that this house is there now for us to do whatever we want to do. So these kind of activities, another small example that I'll give you, phishing emails that you receive, these lotteries, and people fall for that. People give their willingly on their own, they give their email, their password, they share all these things, and then this is where the trouble starts. You have to in fact be very careful about using the Wi-Fi. Most of the time we use Wi-Fi sources here and there, free Wi-Fi mil raha hai, we don't even know that kitne logon se wo share ho raha hai, and who is stealing our information. I would go to the extent of saying that charging your mobile, that precaution also you must take. You should not charge your mobiles at public places. In fact, the stealers, the robbery, the thieves, I would put the word simply the thieves, identity thief theft is done like this. They install malware, they install spywares at the public charging points also. From there, they extract all information about you, and then your bank accounts, your credit cards, your debit cards, otherwise also all kinds of acts that can be indulged into. We ourselves give them the show them the way they can come and
Dr. Adlakha, if you permit me to add this thing, now the children are playing the games which they are getting the free games from the Google.
Exactly.
And in that also we have a very big threat.
Thanks for giving a lot of information, some information you were not known to me also. How can I can safeguard? Thanks for the panelists, Dr. Rekha, it's your turn.
Thank you, sir. Last question to Mr. Kamal Ghai. Assuming that the cyber crime has taken place, so bullying and so on, so what should be the approach taken by the victim to solve the problem? Mr. Ghai.
Yeah. Now, see, these happenings are day to day, every day, at every society, at every level. Children who have already been sexually abused, or they have experience of abusing, or maybe they have a repeated time of they've been abused. Government has come with the POCSO guidelines, and POCSO guidelines are very clear where the child protection has to be there. So in that POCSO guidelines itself, that's provided the guidelines to interact or interview the child. Now interview the child. What you will achieve? You need these special people to interview. Or the parents has to understand how to interact with the child and how this information can be fetched from the children if there is any kind of abuses with them. And to protecting them, we have in guidelines, it is already provided. It's a medical problem also. It is a health problem also. So both the things are noted. Medical is also noted by the guidelines of this act. And then third comes to the sedition. This is also the one of the problems. Sedition also can be treated of the child. So there is now the provision of the in the guidelines is the counselors to be appointed. One should approach to the counselors if this problem cannot be solved at home. Then what counselors should do, see this, what are the indications, what are the indicators? The behavior has been changed, or the psychology of the indicator is also somewhere shaky, or the language of the child is there, which you have been noticing not in the regular course. Then counseling for the family is also required in that. And support system is also now, when a social welfare and support system we have to bring in that when once who become the victim. Then in the victim, how we support, there we have a lot of provisions and list of persons we have to notice. How many numbers of the persons in the family, and then how many persons are in the family, and what is their work culture, how much time they devote to the child. And apart from that, when it comes to the legal, so legal, it comes to that legal to be taken care. There is a guideline from the government of India by the public prosecutor, or any victim can take the help of, without any payment, through the legal aid cell, a special advocate who can deal with the child psychology as well as with the law.
Thank you.
So these are mandatory. Now in the last, I should say this in this. We have provided a framework. The government says that we have provided a framework, information sharing to help the victim. Now, what is that? The approach is ensured to support the child with and his or her family, including the assistance with the police, as Dr. Lakha was already mentioned this thing, and the court proceedings, arrangements of the emergency shelters for those children, because those children can be a foster children also, or they can be a disabled children also. For them, there is a therapy, and then there is a training course, and appropriate rehabilitation program is also there, which can help to take the child back in the natural stream, which stream he was actually living.
Can I interrupt over
Objective.
here, Mr. Kamal?
Yes.
Because time I'm getting a reminder from the organization,
Right.
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 I know there are many points, many issues that we need, but more debate. One is not enough. And before,
No, only one line was left.
I just want to know one advice from Kamal. Would you like to, just one advice, would you like to give to viewers? Just one advice.
Viewers to take the care of the child, and to suppose if your child has become a victim of the abuses. So abuses, once you should have a watch on that. Automatically, the behavior of the child
try to
behavior of the child will let you know that something is. Yes. His language, his behavior, his friend circle, and apart from this, his studies also. It may be he may fall in the studies. So these are the things which has to be taken care. And the remedy is available with the only legal remedy.
Time overshooting, they will just close it.
Right.
Dr. Adalakha, one advice.
Sir, this thing is that empathize with your victim, empathize with your child. What happens is that children don't tell you because they fear that you will take their laptop away, you will take their cell phone away. Once you give them this confidence that I am with you, they will probably share with you. And this problem we will be able to address to a very large extent if the parents, teachers, and elders, we are
at the end of
empathizing.
just 60 seconds to say anything.
I think the parents and children must have a very one-to-one communication with one another. And I think
Very
we should
good.
be able to see whatever changes are taking place, as rightly said by the panelists, these should be visible and taken into account.
Okay, I will close my debate over here. I know there are many more things, this is not enough because there are many questions. We have just shortlisted a few of the questions. And I would like to thank my panelists. The point which they are given, I'm sure the viewers are going to be benefited. I got benefited personally speaking, this
Yes, sir.
stage
So
also.
did I.
And
Thank you, sir.
I
I
also.
hope my panelists
Dr. Adlakha shared.
also. I would like to travel you
Yes,
again,
sir.
maybe after
Kamalji, nice meeting you.
some more discussion, some more points. With that, away.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for giving
Sir,
this platform to us.
you are giving the opportunity to us, sir.
Thank you, Kamal. Thank you, Dinesh. Rekha ji.
Thank you, sir.
Take care.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Stay safe,
Thank
It's a
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. It's a noble cause.